All right, good evening. We'll call this meeting to order at 4 o'clock by my watch. Okay, this is the meeting for the Board of Trustees of the Fallbrook Union High School District. And call to order, like I said, we're at the Ball Burton Performing Arts Center, Fallbrook Union High School, 2400 Stout Stagecoach Lane, Fallbrook, California. We're going to be starting with our closed session. The agenda is Public employee discipline, dismissal, and release, Government Section Code 54957, conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Government Section Code 54956.9 D1, and we have a claim number 2022-021722. Third is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Section Code 54956.9 D2. The fourth is conference with legal negotiators, Government Section Code 54957.6, District Negotiator, Elza Garza Gonzalez, Superintendent, and the employee organizations FH, STA, and SEIU. Opportunity for members of the public to address the board on any item described in this agenda for closed session is open now. I don't see any public comment. That's Government Section Code 54954.3. All right, closed session. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Trustees regular board meeting. This is now opening, adjourning from closed session. We're at the Bob Burton Performing Arts Center, Fallbrook Union High School, 2400 South Stagecoach Lane, Fallbrook, California. Start with the flag salute. If you could stand and join me in that. Thank you. Roll call. Eddie Jones, I am present. President. Diane Summers, Vice President.
Present.
Oscar Carlampio, Clerk.
Present.
Ilana Sterling, Trustee.
Present.
And Lita Tavish, Trustee.
Present.
Superintendent Ilza Garza Gonzalez.
Present.
Damian Gallegos, not here. And Savannah Hamath.
Present.
Okay, thank you. All open sessions of the Board of Trustees are recorded and streamed in real time at fuhsd.net. I'll go over the informal review of the governing team's norms. The Board of Trustees approved norms are that we be respectful, be approachable, be open-minded, be communicative with no surprises, be willing to listen, be prepared, and to be trustworthy. All right, report from closed session. There's 4 items. First one is public employment discipline, dismissal, and release, government section code 54957, nothing to report. Conference with legal counsel pending litigation, government section code 54956.9D1. This is in regards to claim number 22-021722. The board voted 5-0 to reject that claim. The third one is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to section code 54956.9D2, nothing to report. And finally, conference with legal negotiators, government section code 54957.6, nothing to report. Next item would be to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I have a correction to the agenda under the public hearing session, section number 9. The last sentence should read, and construct a solar photovoltaic PV energy system and related improvements at the district's high school campus, and strike out lighting retrofitting project.
Okay, any other changes? All right, thank you for the correction. I'll need a move in a second, please.
I move that the board adopts the agenda with the correction on item 9 for the regular meeting of March 28th, 2022.
Thank you.
I second.
Moved by Tavish, second by Sterling. All right, go for the vote. Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Gallegos not here. Savannah?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now we move to the public hearing session. So this is again on that topic that we just did the adjustment to, energy services contract. So we'll now open the public hearing on this contract at 5:36.
Could we have the presentation start, please?
Good evening, board. This is Matt Van Noot from Baker Electric, coming to you remotely from the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners Continuing Education Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. Sorry I couldn't be with you this evening, so I prepared this pre-recorded presentation of our economic analysis that you should be seeing in front of you. The first page of our analysis is the project summary. I've highlighted a couple of the key numbers on this page. The first one is the upfront payment at the bottom of the list in front of you. The upfront payment is $3,942,211. That upfront payment represents the lump sum price for the solar project, the extended warranty on the inverter, which gets you out to 20 years of warranty coverage on all the inverters for the system, preventative maintenance for 10 years, and that preventative maintenance also includes the performance guarantee of 90% solar production based on the year one value. I also have the payment and performance bond, which is required for the construction project by the school district. That's what makes up that $3.942 million number. Just above that number is the payback period, a couple of rows up, of 8.1 years, which is very good for a project that doesn't have any incentives. This is just a cash purchase, and that's a really good payback period for a project like this, especially with the carports and with the DSA component. The final number I've highlighted is the power rating, which you can see is just under the 1.1 megawatt threshold for Rule 21. So we're getting you all the way up there. We're not leaving anything on the table, and this will be the maximum impact the school can make with solar. There's some other metrics on this page, and feel free to review those if you'd like, including the levelized cost of energy, which is below 10 cents a kilowatt hour. We're paying about over 20 cents a kilowatt hour at the school right now, and the net present value of the project, as well as the electric bill savings. The total payments number is higher because there is O&M, operations and maintenance costs anticipated beyond the 10-year preventative maintenance, which you'll see in the cash flow in a few pages. But moving on to page 2, we have, I'll give you a second to get there. We have a list of the different accounts and meters throughout the campus and the impact of solar on those meters. You can see it starts with the main meter in the parking lot. We're going to offset that meter economically by 81%. We're going to reduce the costs annually, resulting in a total savings of $344,000 on that meter alone. The second largest meter is where we're targeting for a potential battery storage system. We're going to keep that battery storage system separate for now because the lead times on the battery projects are getting really long, and we don't want the batteries to hold up the solar project. We're also going to look at adding batteries to the main meter in conjunction with the solar, and we expect that battery proposal to be ready in approximately 30 days. We're working with our battery partners on that right now. Continuing down the list, you can see that the kilowatt hour offset is very similar throughout the campus beyond the main meter. And that's because we're dividing the exports from the main meter, the energy sent back onto the grid. We're going to distribute those virtually around the campus. And they're going to have a very similar impact as a percentage. The total percentage offset is 63% for the entire campus, with the total gross utility savings of just over $447,000. Moving on to page 3, we have a projected cash flow for the project. I've highlighted a couple of metrics at the top, or variables, I should say, that I think are most important. The first is the energy cost escalation rate, and this is what we're anticipating utility costs to increase annually. 3% is a very modest anticipation of this cost increase. I think we just got hit with the 10% increase year over year in January, and I think there was another 10% the year before that. So this is a very modest, very conservative approach. We also have a PV degradation rate of about 0.5% a year. The solar modules will continue to get less powerful, and that's backed up by the solar module warranty. Moving down into the cash flow, we have your project costs on the left, followed by a calculation for the reduction in value on those exports that we're sending out to the rest of the school. The utility does reclaim a little bit of the value as they distribute those. It's still very beneficial to distribute those around the campus, even with that quote unquote haircut from what's the NBC stands for non-bypassable charges. The next column is your operations and maintenance column. As you can see, no cost for the first 10 years, or cost is included in our project costs. And then we've got an anticipated cost moving forward. Keep in mind that you can always renew the preventative maintenance agreement with Baker Electric or another provider and negate those ongoing costs or roll those in and represent those. Electric bill savings are the next column over. And you can see that matches the electric bill savings from the previous page, $447,302. That graduates every year with the 3% energy cost escalation rate, but also factors in the PV degradation rate. The total cash flow, as you can see, is that electric bill savings minus any of the haircut and O&M costs. And that then eats away at your upfront investment, working towards your 8, or technically the 9th year, just into it, or no, it's year 8, that you will have recovered fully the investment that you've made in the solar project. And then after that, it's free energy for 30 years, resulting in a total electric bill savings of over $19,500,000. And a cumulative total cash flow after 30 years of just short of $15 million. This concludes the economic analysis presentation, and technology willing, I am available for your questions via phone. Thank you very much.
Ms. Mefford, is Baker Electric Online able to be on the phone or not? He was having issues at the airport.
Well, I guess just as important, does anybody have any questions that we would like to try to answer?
Yeah, I have a question. As construction is happening in these parking lots, where would the staff members park and the students park during construction?
So the ideal would be for construction to take place during the summer, which is why we're bringing it to the board's attention at this time. It would also be in phases, so not all of the parking lots would be closed down at the same time.
Mr. Van Note is available by telephone if we need to call him.
I felt that the presentation was very clear and really kind of answered pretty much all the financial questions and the saving questions that we would be asking. The 90% production guarantee seems to be very adequate. I don't have really any specific questions. Does anybody else?
No, I agree. I think it's really what we were looking for. It's what I expected. I know he's been talking to us, several solar people have, but I feel the numbers he had here seems to reflect what we were expecting, and I don't have any further questions.
I have a question. Well, just a comment, Matt. I think the saving grace of this whole thing is that we're able to put the panels in all the parking lots. And I think we all agree here on the board that we have had concerns of where we were going to put them. And I'm really appreciative that you were able to manage to figure that out. So that's good. Looks nice and clean. I love the diagram with all the out in front. So that won me over big time.
And I just want to clarify that by all the parking lots, we mean the staff lot, the senior lot, and the lot by the visitor side of the football stadium.
Okay, anything else? Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, no public comment it seems, so we'll go ahead and close this hearing at 5:47. All right, next one would be the recognition.
Yes, so thank goodness for technology, as you just saw with the presentation from Baker Electric, and I printed out my things before coming here and left them on the copier. Luckily, they're on my phone. So I'd like to recognize Fallbrook's finest for the month of March. Two of our employees that are being recognized are here today. So when I call your name, if you could please stand up or come up to the stage, that would be wonderful. Our first employee being recognized for Fallbrook's finest for the month of March is Omar Moodle, Fallbrook High School math teacher. Mr. Moodle is always helping out around the school and offering assistance to other teachers. He works closely with his math colleagues during DRS to discuss student achievement and share practices that will result in improved achievement for all students. He actively engages with students to seek out ways to best serve them. As the MTSS TOSA, Mr. Moodle has worked tirelessly to develop a tiered intervention approach that addresses academic, behavior, and social emotional well-being. Congratulations, Mr. Moodle. I'd also like to recognize John Nellis. Mr. Nellis is a science teacher at Ivy High School. He is a determined teacher who gets to know his students and pushes them to learn all they can about chemistry every day at Ivy. His can-do mindset at Ivy has been instrumental in bringing the A through G requirement of chemistry to the students at Ivy High School. In his first year at Ivy, John has worked with the teachers and the administrator to promote a college and career readiness mindset to provide Ivy High School graduates the same opportunities available to students of Fallbrook High School. And finally, we would like to recognize Emily Toon. Emily is a director. I always say Director of Educational Support Services because she oversees so many things that kind of captures it all. Ms. Toon wears many hats at Fallbrook. Most recently, she has added to her responsibilities teaching a class when the teacher left mid-year. Not only did she teach English language development, but while another teacher was hired, but she decorated the classroom to give students a sense of ownership and belonging. Emily has been busy engaging stakeholders on the LCAP, overseeing LPAC, and leading discussions regarding the late start schedule, block scheduling, and textbook adoption. All of us at the district office that work closely with Emily are convinced that she has an identical twin, because it seems impossible for any one person to do all that she does and to do it with a smile. She is a champion for Fallbrook Union High School District and always has its best interest in mind. We are truly lucky to have her. Now I'd like to invite Mrs. Debbie Berg and Mrs. Tracy Markham. They are the advisors for Academic Decathlon. And any students that are here tonight, if you could come up to the stage while Mrs. Berg and Ms. Markham read about your many achievements. Will the students be speaking?
They can.
Oh, otherwise, if they can just come up to the stage and face the audience, we can see them much better that way.
So they have to stand while we talk about them. I don't know if these are on. Yeah, they're on. There's not close. So, good evening. We'll try to keep this relatively short, but we're very proud of our students. My name is Tracy Markham, and I have been an advisor for the Academic Decathlon. My goodness, I believe this is my 16th year doing so. This is, as always, a wonderful group of students, and just want to talk very quickly about Academic Decathlon, and then Mrs. Berg will give you some information about these students specifically and how well they performed this year. So, Academic Decathlon this year, our theme was water, which is kind of interesting. Decathlon, of course, means that there are 10 events where they do participate. In science, for example, they looked at studying marine biology. Our mathematics this year was statistics. Art and music had lots of water themes. Economics and sociology looked at water management, aqueducts, water utilization, conservation, and legislation. These students started working with us on Fridays at lunchtime sometime in September, so they donate a lunch every single week. They also do some studying on their own time as best they possibly can, but just looking at this group of kids, and I'm sure you guys know some of them, they're all really outstanding students, so to weave in Decathlon with all of the other amazing things that they do is pretty neat. Mrs. Berg and I have always been very grateful that they come spend every Friday with us. There are 3 levels that the students compete in, so as Mrs. Berg talks about the awards, the honors, scholastic, and varsity levels are based on unweighted academic grade point averages, and it's always tough to pick a team because all of these kids are such high-achieving students, and we're very grateful that we have found such a wonderful team. I have to really quickly toot one horn. Timothy Marshburn, one of our students, is the first OASIS student to also compete for Fallbrook High School, and even though Mrs. Berg borrows him for AP Calculus, it is nice that I can say that I got one of the OASIS students to work with us this year. So our team is, as mentioned, Timothy Marshburn from Oasis High School, representing Fallbrook High, Trenton Yang, Chloe Shaver, Jacob Mendenhall, and Anthony Wilson, in order as they're standing. And also not here this evening, Damon Gallegos, who of course you all know as a board representative, and according to Chloe, he's up at FFA getting some state awards, so he's a little bit busy. And we're also missing Jason Rodriguez, who could not make it with us this evening.
Hello. I have the pleasure of just kind of quickly running through what all this noise was as they were walking down the stairs. Jacob earned a silver in art. In econ, Damon and Jacob tied for a silver. In scholastic, Chloe earned a gold, and Anthony earned a bronze. An essay, we took the top gold standing in all 3 levels. Jacob was gold in varsity, Chloe was gold in scholastic, and Timothy is gold in honors. For the interview, we have Jacob earned silver for varsity, Chloe earned bronze for scholastic, and Jason earned silver for scholastic. In literature, we have Jacob earned silver for varsity, Jason earned bronze, and Chloe earned gold for scholastics, and then Anthony earned bronze for honors. In mathematics, we took 2 at the varsity level. We earned bronze for varsity, and that was Damon, and we earned gold for varsity, and that was Jacob. Chloe earned silver, and Jason earned gold in the scholastics category. For mathematics, for music, we scored, Jacob had a gold for varsity, and Jason and Chloe had bronze and gold, respectively, for scholastic. Sorry, I'm almost done. I know this is a long list. For science, Jacob earned silver for varsity, Jason earned silver for scholastic, and Chloe earned gold for scholastic. Anthony earned a bronze for honors. Social science, Jacob earns a bronze for varsity, and Anthony earned a silver in honors. And then speech, last one, Jacob earned a bronze in varsity, and Chloe earned a gold in scholastic. And what is so remarkable about this is that we earned, these remarkable group of students here, they earned awards in every single subject that we did. This is probably the best we've done in quite a very long time. On top of that, Fallbrook placed 2nd overall in the county, 1st place in literature, and 1st place in mathematics. I left them up there. I had these beautiful little things. And then probably the thing that really rocked our world was three main things. Jacob was the top scorer for Fallbrook High School, and he was the top scorer of the entire competition. And that's not what won him a computer. These guys are holding computers that they received. Jacob earned a computer for being the top scorer in the varsity category for all of San Diego County. And Chloe earned the top score in the scholastic of all of San Diego County. I believe there were 3 computers given, right? And Fallbrook took 2 of them. So, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Anyway, thank you for letting us brag a little bit on our kiddos, and we're super duper proud of them. And we have a number of juniors that are, and a sophomore. That are going to come back and just lead the way. Chloe did this last year. She was a junior, one of our first juniors that we ever had. And so I'm really looking forward to next year getting all of them back.
Timothy's a junior, and Jacob's a junior, and Anthony's a sophomore, so we hope we haven't scared them off. And Trenton and Chloe are going off to better things in the world. And then next year, actually, lastly, kind of very excited that next year the topic is the American Revolution. So that should be very exciting. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. If I could have the students walk around for the board. I don't think they are. Timothy? Ahora quisiera invitar a pasar al frente a la señora Marisela García, la señora Blanca López y la señora Elisa Ayala para reconocer al estudiante migrante del año de la región 9, Cristian Sánchez, y al padre del año de la región 9, Gabriela Gómez. So at this time, I would like to invite Ms. Marisela Garcia, Ms. Blanca Lopez, and Ms. Elisa Ayala, employees from our state migrant program, as we are going to recognize the Migrant Student of the Year from Region 9, Christian Sanchez, and the Migrant Parent of the Year from Region 9, Gabriela Gomez. And if I could have Mrs. Gomez and Christian come up to the stage. Yes, I had heard that Christian might be busy this evening with his employment. And Ms. Ayala, are you going to be telling us about the program, or?
I would be happy to, but if you've prepared something, by all means.
I did not.
Okay, I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Elisa Ayala. I'm the Senior Director of Migrant Education, Region 9, out of San Diego County Office of Education. We serve migratory children and families in all of San Diego and Orange County. Each year, we have the honor of recognizing a Parent of the Year and a Student of the Year. And this year, the exciting news is that both of them are from Fallbrook Union High School District. So I'll start off by introducing our Parent of the Year, Mrs. Gabriela Gomez. Mrs. Gomez has served as the president of your local Fallbrook Union High School District Parent Advisory Council for migrant parents, as well as the president of our Regional Advisory Council, which has representatives from various districts we serve in Orange and San Diego. And she is an amazing role model for all of our other migrant parents. She is eager always to participate, to learn, and one of the most wonderful qualities about her that I'd like to mention is her humility. She is open to learning, she has a growth mindset, and she models that both for her children as well as our migrant parent community. So congratulations, felicidades, Señora Gomez. And our Migrant Student of the Year is typically a junior or senior student who has been participating in migrant education and participating in our services and interacting with the different opportunities that we provide, both educational, social, and socio-emotional. And we look for them to be on a successful path for their graduation and to move forward in college and career. So this year, our region has chosen Cristian Sanchez, and we have Mom, Mrs. Sanchez, representing Cristian today. And Cristian is a senior here at Fallbrook High School, and he, amongst working many hours, which is why he is not here with us today, he supports his parents and his whole family, as well as succeeding academically in such challenging courses as AP Calculus, and also another very humble young man looking forward to a really bright future. So we are really proud to honor Cristian Sanchez as our Migrant Region 9 Student of the Year. And we thank Fallbrook Union High School and also Emily, who I think stepped away, who is our support. And then I'll also quickly introduce Marisela Garcia and Blanca Lopez. They're our migrant education program advocates, and without them, I don't think Mrs. Gomez or Christian would be as successful as they were either. So I would also like to give them a round of applause for their support for our migrant students and families here in Fallbrook. Thank you.
Mrs. Ayala, could you share, or Mrs. Lopez or Garcia, could you share with our board what classifies a student as a migrant student and some of the challenges they may face?
Sure, I'll go ahead and share the qualifications. So migrant education is a federally funded program under Title I, Part C. And families, children who qualify for migrant education have to be children of parents who are working in any number of agricultural jobs, including field work in wholesale nurseries, fishing, dairy, a number of other things. But along with that, they also need to be moving due to economic necessity or to seek agricultural work every 3 years. So with that move that is happening and is experienced by many of our agricultural workers in the state of California, their children then often face academic challenges as they are changing schools, sometimes frequently, moving from home to home. They may experience learning loss. Academically, they may not have the same opportunities to participate in enrichment or to receive social services. So our program, through the federally funded dollars, provides to the students and families. Here after school, we have a number of programs that we run to assist students with coming up to grade level in math, English language arts, ELD, as well as enrichment opportunities. And then we also provide parent support, parenting classes, a parent advisory council, and many different opportunities that our parents can learn to help their students be successful.
Thank you. And on behalf of Fallbrook Union High School District, I would like to thank you, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Lopez, and the San Diego County Office of Education, because as a small school district, this is a program that we would not be able to support without your help. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, if you could come around so that the board can congratulate everyone.
Okay, now, again, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to our presentations.
Yes, our first presentation is on dual immersion by Ms. Paulina Wilson, teacher on special assignment and Spanish teacher here at Fallbrook High School.
Good evening, board members. The last time I was here was January 24th. Today I will be providing you with an update and a recap of the dual immersion program and what has transpired since the last time I was here. So I have participated in 3 different professional learnings since the last time I was here. One of those professional learnings was not only myself, but also Ms. Lauren Gartnier and Ms. Emily Toon participated as well. And it was a webinar that was 4 sessions called Designing Multilingual Pathways for Equitable Learning and Global Achievement Professional Learning. And in this professional learning session, we covered all of the different characteristics of a highly quality programs. We looked at our vertical alignment, how to leverage the state of seal of Illiteracy, how to build pathway awards. You can see all the different listings there. One of the most important takeaways from this professional learning was that we learned we have an actually pretty amazing program. We learned that thanks to Miss Emily Toon's leadership and her pioneering spirit, and just all the great work she's done to bring dual immersion to Fallbrook High School is really evident in looking at other programs in other schools and throughout the state of California. This was a session that included people and programs from Sacramento, San Francisco, all up and down the state, and I'm very proud to be a part of this dual immersion program, and I can say that we have a very strong, well-established, high-quality program. The other professional learning I participated in was with the Spanish and science teachers in the dual immersion program here at Fallbrook High School. Again, the most important takeaways from that learning session was that we were able to collaborate. We adopted common pedagogical practices. We're able to examine student work and just get on the same page in terms of calibration and understanding our proficiency targets and course rubrics and just a lot of the internal work that needs to be done with other teachers and just, making sure that we have a well-calibrated program. And the third professional learning series actually this was a one-time webinar, but it was a professional learning on the seal of illiteracy, and it focused on the state's Global California 2030 initiative, and it went over the goals for the state of California. So the state of California has been awarding the seal of illiteracy since 2013, as you can see on the graph there. In the year of 2013, they awarded 10,000 seals, and that number has been increasing by 10,000 each year. So they have a goal. Their proposed goal is to take the number of 46,952 seals that were awarded back in 2017 and increase that to 150,000 seal of illiteracies by the year 2030. So that's what that initiative is about. And another goal is to triple the number of graduating seniors that will earn the seal of illiteracy. So 3 out of 4 graduating seniors by 2040 will be receiving the seal of illiteracy. Some of the other interesting information that was shared in this professional learning was the top 10 counties that request the seal of illiteracy in the state of California. So as you can see up there, San Diego accounts for 8% of the seal of illiteracies that are awarded in the state. Riverside is 8%. The surprising number there was Orange County with 21%, given it's such a small county. And then Los Angeles takes 32% of the state seals that are requested. The state seeks to honor and recognize the great variety of languages that our students bring to our schools. And as you can see there, the top 10 languages that are requested are French, Mandarin, Japanese, American Sign Language, which is another language that we offer here at Fallbrook High School. And as you can see the percentages, so 77% of the state seals that are awarded in the state of California are Spanish, and 2% are American Sign Language, and you can see the other percentages there. But it's definitely, we live in a very diverse state. The awarding the seal of illiteracy is also contributes to fulfilling the college and career readiness indicator for our school because of the requirements that the students have to meet in order to receive the seal of biliteracy. On one hand, they have to demonstrate literacy or biliteracy in a foreign language, or demonstrate proficiency in reading, speaking, writing in another language other than English. And they also must score a 3 or above in the Smarter Balanced Summative assessments, or meet the standard of the CASP state test that they take their junior year. All right, so this incited me to look at what we've done so far here at the high school. And if you can see the graph up there, in 2017, we awarded 42 seals of biliteracy. In 2018, that number went up to 60. Then 2019, it went up to 64. In 2020, it dipped a little back down to 42. And then back in 2021, we awarded 78 seals, which to me, it attests that the dual immersion program is doubling the number of seals that we are awarding as a school. So that's a very positive trend that I found. And then also, it allowed me to set some goals for me as a TOSA for the dual immersion program. I want to continue to provide information to our parents, provide information to our students, collaborate with our counselors to make sure everyone knows what the requirements are. Looking back at the data, we see that we have the possibility to be awarding at least 100 seals every year, but for one reason or another, a student falls short of meeting the requirements, so there's a lot of work to be done on that end. If we can catch them early enough and educate them on what the requirements are and work with the parents, I'm sure we can turn that trend into an even better number. Maybe ambitious, but I don't think so. I think it can be done with proper planning and vision. We can definitely bump that number up. And then this brings me to parent and student involvement. I have continued working with counselors, administrators, and teachers to continue refining our placement procedures and practices. I did create an informative brochure, which did not exist, about the dual immersion program, and there you can see it spells out the requirements for the seal of biliteracy. It gives parents pointers on the benefits of being bilingual, and it attests to what a great program this is. And there you can see we have resumed the Saturday academies with these children from Mayales, and you can see a group there. We held 2 Saturday academies in March, and we focused on career exploration through the lens of community helpers, which was a great collaboration. I think our high schoolers took the most benefit because it sparked the question, well, what am I going to do after I graduate from here? What are my career goals, and what are my college aspirations? And so it was a very just interesting collaboration between the two groups, and I think it impacted our high schoolers to start thinking, and planning for college and career readiness. And I am also continuing to work with Mr. Jorge Rojas on planning the biliteracy awards. We will be recognizing our dual immersion students, our world language students, and of course, all of our students who complete the dual immersion pathway. We are working on ordering medals for them to actually recognize and give them that medal that they earn at the end of their high school career. This will be something new that we will introduce this year. We are ordering T-shirts for them so that they can get that sense of belonging and increase that sense of, they belong in this program. And that's pretty much it. There is still a lot of work to be done. And again, like I said, if we can bump those CELA by literacy numbers up, that will be a good way to measure our success. Any questions?
No questions, just comment. I'm really glad that the district is investing in PD for you and several other staff members, so we could definitely improve our services and our program for our students. And being a bilingual teacher in Fallbrook Elementary, I'm glad to see that we can promise the kids that this will continue on to high school, and it's a great motivator for the kids in primary as well to say, hey, I can continue into high school, get my CELA by literacy, so this 8 years that I've invested in the bilingual program will be worth it. So really glad to see this. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just a quick question. This would be on their graduation diploma, is that correct? So it's really only applicable to seniors or people in the last year, is that correct?
The CELA by literacy, yes, it goes on their diploma and they receive the medal again.
And I think we saw we're at 80 now. And how many graduates we have in a year?
We have about 400.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Again, there's room for growth for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
You're welcome.
Our next presenter is Mr. Virgilio Mayo. He is a TOSA for the English language learners, as well as an ELD teacher at Fallbrook High School.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak before you tonight. My name is Virgilio Mayo. I'm the ELD chairperson and teacher. I'd like to give you just a little update on what's been going on in the ELD department at Fallbrook High School since I last spoke to you on January 24th. As with all things ELD, I can't take credit for all of it. I'm just a piece that helps make the wheel turn. But what has been going on is mostly the LPAC exam. Every year it's kind of this big meteor that's heading towards us. But because of the people we have and the staff that we have, it always seems a lot easier than we anticipate. But what this takes is creating testing schedules, which have been drafted and erased because something comes up, and edited over and over again. Coordinating with our paraprofessionals who are amazing, and this test could not be completed without them. The undertaking that they did over the last month is incredible and speaks volumes to who they are. Corresponding with teachers on whether students are going to be pulled from their class and when. In addition to training our helping to train our ELD teachers. And since the beginning of the year, always sharing our best practices and encouraging that environment within our department to share your best practices and activities and strategies that'll not only help language acquisition, but also success on the exam. During the exam itself, troubleshooting, because the system itself and the process is a little complicated, and there's a lot of moving parts while you're giving the assessment. So that is also something that comes up a lot. As of last week, we had approximately 84% of our students, our language learners, who have completed the exam. The exam itself has 4 components. Students are tested on speaking, writing, listening, and reading. The speaking portion itself takes approximately about 20 to 30 minutes per student. And to say that we have 84% of this, our students complete at this point, is pretty remarkable. Also in the works is a Palomar College workshop and field trip, hopefully. On April 6th, we're planning to have a representative from the Palomar College ESL program, and we've worked with him in the past. He's come and spoken to some of our newcomer students. We've actually visited him in the past, but that has all kind of stopped because of the pandemic. But with the College and Career Center and Ms. Kane, the ELD program and LTELS, will be participating in a event in our College and Career Center where Mr. Cruz there will speak on the program, the requirements, any possibilities, sort of an orientation on his program at Palomar College. The second part will be an application workshop. In the future, we hopefully before the end of the year, obviously, planning to take a field trip to Palomar College with interested language learners. This will include a campus tour, an evaluation or placement test, presentation of the different programs that they have. In the past, they were able to speak with teachers at Palomar College. They were able to speak with program directors and learn a little bit about the industry that was associated with their program and what kind of career path they can follow, which garnered interest among our students on possibly attending the university. It was a first experience for many of our students because they either did not have siblings that have gone or no one in their family had gone. So being on a university campus was a big step for them and very exciting to say the least. Also going on in the EL department, which will be the biggest undertaking, is scheduling of classes. ELD students have a very restrictive schedule because of their ELD classes, which take up a lot of space in their program, in their schedules rather. So what we've done already is we've had counselors visit our ELD classes and speaking on A through G requirements and explaining what they are to our students, creating or updating their 4-year plans, and scheduling classes for the next school year. The scheduling classes is really a difficult and complicated process because each student has a different kind of situation, whether it be classes that they're transferring from another country, classes that they've already taken, classes that need to be made up. So what I'll be doing over the course of the next several weeks is cross-checking and triple-checking each student's schedule and their graduation status, also ensuring that any A through G candidates stay on track and make up any classes that they possibly would need to stay on that track. Going back actually real quick, also coming in the next couple of weeks, or already started, is individual conferences with each student, which kind of ties into next year, making sure students are in good standing in their current classes, communicating with parents if that's not the situation, and making a plan or program with their teachers on how to mediate any poor grades or any situations where they need to get their grade up before the end of the year. Also, we'll be communicating with teachers on creating final assessments or modifying assessments for language learners in order to make them more accessible. But lastly, I've spoken a lot about what I do. I'd like to take a minute to speak about why I do it. And these pictures will best explain that. Our ELD students make it all the work, all the long hours, early mornings worthwhile. They may not have the medals or awards or ribbons, but each day is a victory that should be celebrated for them. These students are taking on challenges that myself as a student would not even imagine or be able to do. We have people that are working long hours after classes or on the weekends, taking care of siblings, among other things. And each day is a victory and should be a trophy for them. And any day that I have all the seats full in my classroom is a good day for me and makes all that other work seem, easy, I guess. And that's all for me for today. Any questions or comments?
I have one.
Sure.
Sometimes people come up to me in the community and they lament about the dashboard or what the academic scores, mostly in literacy and math. And to me, I know we have a lot of ESL kids. So are this test that you talk about, is that separate from the testing the kids get that for the dashboard?
Yes,
you understand what I'm saying?
The LPACs, Ms. Toon will speak on it, I believe, at another point, but the data for the LPAC is separate from the ELA and math scores. They take that exam as well, but this is for our language acquisition, and it's only for our language learners. but it's not necessarily present per se in the dashboard. Is that correct? Sure.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Yeah.
He's 100% correct. The only other piece I would add is we do have the LP, which is a portion of our dashboard that does track our English learner progress.
Yeah.
So in 2019, 44% of our students were making progress on the LPAC, so they do measure the growth on the LP as well. And Mr. Mayo supports with the SBAC testing and making sure we provide the right designated supports for our students to take the test.
Mm-hmm. But when you're looking in comparative, like our school to another school, for example, and this comes up when people are considering buying houses in Fallbrook that have children that would be going to school. Well, of course, the dashboard's old. We didn't get to test during the pandemic, which, a lot of people don't understand that. But still, it just appears to be really low, and I'm always considering, we have so many ESL kids. You're doing a terrific job with them. I don't mean that. I mean, it's just, that it's just, you understand where I'm going with this? It seems like it appears that all the scores are jumped together, and that might be why. There's still an old score for Fallbrook High School, which is a C+.
I totally understand, and I see the optic, but our language learners are a percentage of our test takers. They're not the whole.
Right.
So I think as a whole, our school probably could do better, not just language learners. I'm not pushing fault. Yeah, for sure. If I went to another country and I was asked to take a state assessment, I probably wouldn't do very well in the first couple of years that I was there. But at the same time, yeah, we could do better for sure.
Okay.
Yes, the scores are disaggregated. The C+ has nothing to do with the dashboard. That's actually a completely separate website. I believe it's greatschools.com, which is not based on the statistical data that's provided by the dashboard. We strictly focus on the dashboard for our growth. As far as the LPAC is concerned, it is given to every student that has been designated as an English learner starting in kindergarten or whenever they enter school for the first time in the United States. It is a very rigorous exam, if not as rigorous, even more rigorous than the SBAC. And what research has proven over and over again is that the same academic language gaps that an English language learner has, many of our students coming from poverty also have. And we have a greater percentage of low socioeconomic students than we do English language learners.
Many of our test takers are actually not in our ELD program. They're long-term learners. Which at one point in their education they were flagged as a learner. That could be just when they filled out their first survey when they arrived to a district is a language spoken other than English at home. So we have many students that don't receive our ELD supports that are also taking these exams, but are in the classification as a language learner.
Okay. All right. So this score that keeps coming up when people look for homes, that doesn't have, so that will, I guess, improve because of the percentage that we're seeing now in the new test scores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. Two things. It's great that the students are visiting Palmer College. Mr. Cruz over there is a great friend of mine that we went to Cal State San Marcos with. I would also like to encourage if we could visit Cal State San Marcos. Cal State San Marcos has a CAMP program, College Assistant Migrant Program, that I was a part of. Provide great service for ELs, and just if our students could visit other campuses as well, would be great. And I think they would benefit a lot from it. And it's local, right, really close to Palmar. Number two, our ELs are classified in four categories: EL1, EL2, EL3, and 4.
Yes, sir.
I have noticed that most of our EL1s are newcomers from Guatemala, so just want to know if you have a busy schedule, there's a lot going on, but if we could include anything from the Guatemalan culture in some of these activities, right? A simple thing as marimba, which is the indigenous music from Guatemala. We have 3 stores in Fallbrook on Main Street and Aviation that sell Guatemalan food or just Guatemalan clothes. So the Guatemalan population is increasingly high and getting higher in Fallbrook. So if we could just integrate anything from the Guatemalan culture, I think that our students will really appreciate that, and it'll just continue to build that bond that they already have. And thank you for everything that you do.
For sure. I mean, I agree. On a personal level, I try to incorporate anything from a culture on a daily basis from lesson to lesson, but I think a bigger, celebration of that would be appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayo.
Thank you.
And next we have Ms. Nora Mayer giving a presentation on the Citizens Oversight Committee. Ms. Mayer is the current president of the Citizens Oversight Committee for Fallbrook Union High School District.
Good evening. Hi, guys. So yes, I am the president of the Citizens Oversight Committee. I'm just going to give a little brief for the people who are online because they're probably wondering what is the Citizens Oversight Committee. So we are a committee of stakeholders in the community. We have 2 members at large, 1 senior citizen organization member, a parent member, PTA member, business organization member, and a tax organization member. We are in charge. We do not vote on how the funds from the bonds are distributed. You guys, the board, decide that. We are just an oversight committee, which is part of the regulations that we have with the current bonds and the expenditures that we have on this campus. So we're kind of check the box, look at the budget, make sure things are spent from the proper categories on the proper things that we need. The bond is for Fallbrook High School, and it is to improve our current buildings, infrastructure, and create new buildings. So we've had different phases. The first phase was renovations at the students' request of many of the bathrooms that we had on campus. Unfortunately, we had to repair some twice. And then also the library has just had their grand opening today for the students. And then the other thing was the unfinished bowl that was leftover projects, which is another thing that the bond has had to inherit, is projects that were partially finished or not ADA compliant. So we're having to have them be up to code on our buildings and walkways and our campus in general. So the next project that is also going to happen is we're going to have a bathroom that will be shared between the ag building centers and the lower level, especially when older people come. It's really hard for them to walk up to those stairs to go to the bathroom. So they'll have one that will be on the lower level, and it will be a dual use bathroom for the ag students during the day and also during football games. The next project, the bowl, has just been completed with the shades. The students are really liking. We did request maybe some more tables down there for the kids in the shade, just hint, hint, board. And then the next project that is coming up is the renovation of the 400 buildings. And those are mobiles. And so they're talking about purchasing wholesale. As just to state the obvious, I know you guys, the boards, know this, but for the general public listening, we were going to have the last sale of our bonds be in 2, but because of the current market and the actuary recommending that we sell in one big thing, because the market is in our favor at this point in time, we got a very good rate and we sold it all in one. And at our last meeting, we did discuss that all those 100% of our bonds sold, and we even discussed the rate as well. So because of that, the new building that will be the CTE, ROTC, robotics, all that, will be able to be built in one phase instead of 2 separate phases, which is really a nice thing because that speeds up the process for the students, and it also gives some continuity. So that was pretty much it for what we've been doing. We go for a year. We are a volunteer. We do not get paid. But yet we are representing the community because these are expenditures. Somebody has to be checking the box to make sure that things are being spent the way they are regulated. So, any questions?
No, just thank you for your work with that. We appreciate it. It's good that somebody else is checking this stuff probably a little bit more detail than we are. There's lots in these packets, so yeah, I know.
Ms. Medford will vouch. I'm a little OCD. I go through line by line. So we have found a couple little things, and we've brought the money back to the proper place. But yeah, it's just, another set of eyes that we can all, and a little input. Not that we get to decide, but a little input. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment. Fallbrook Union High School District Board of Educators encourages and invites the public to comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. By the way, if you're a public comment, you can start walking down here. You'll be ready by the time I'm done with this paragraph. Total public input on any one subject will be limited to 20 minutes. The president may increase or decrease the time allotted with the board consent as per the bylaws 9323. Per legislation AB 1291, the board will give twice the allocated time to members of the public who utilize translation technology or assistance to address the board. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard at this time. Comments on agenda items may be taken at this time or when the agenda items are discussed by the board. Speakers will be called by the order card was submitted, and the district's silence should not be mistaken for agreement with public comment. Rather, the board remains silent to comply with California law, avoid illegal entanglements, and/or to protect the privacy of those involved. Please be assured that any serious allegations have been or will be investigated thoroughly. Any response from the board may occur during board public comments. Members of the audience are expected to refrain from any conduct intended to harass or intimidate any members of the public. We will request that everyone be respectful and courteous during tonight's meeting.
Our first speaker is Tom Kennedy. Question agenda item, public comment.
First up. Thank you. My name is Tom Kennedy. I'm the general manager at Rainbow Municipal Water District, and we serve 80 square miles in this area and a good portion of your district, as well as the communities of Bonsall and Rainbow. And it was interesting when I came up because the first speakers you were talking about utilities, and then your academic decathletes were about water, and then we had another group talking about the challenges of people in agriculture. And that's a big thing that we do here, both us and the Fallbrook Public Utility District, is we serve water to our largely agricultural area, and everyone's heavily impacted by the cost of water. Water bills have been going up for all of our ratepayers and for us, because we're members of the San Diego County Water Authority, and the cost to us for our wholesale water has gone up about 8% a year for the last 10 years, and we have to pass those costs on to you at the school districts and all of our members. I know that Noelle with Fallbrook here will know your exact numbers. I know how much Bonsall High School spends on water, but she has the Fallbrook numbers, but it's a considerable amount. And so in order to try to preserve some of the money and keep the money here locally, about 2 years ago, we applied with the Local Information Commission to change wholesalers to the Eastern Municipal Water District, just north of us, that serves Rancho California and areas right above us. And whoa, look at those, the clock is ticking. All right, sorry, I was distracted by that. And so it's an important thing for our communities because the water costs have changed the fabric of agriculture in our area. The loss of our avocado groves. We're no longer the avocado capital of the world, but we'll still do that avocado festival here shortly. And what we're looking to do is to make sure that all of our community groups and organizations are informed about the process we're going through. I'm not sure I can do it in 2 minutes and 24 seconds, but I'll give it a go. The reality is that within our area, the water that serves our area never touches a water pipeline owned by the San Diego County Water Authority. And according to a study done by LAFCO, people in this region kick in over $7.5 million a year extra money that goes down to San Diego that pays for infrastructure down all south of us that we don't use or benefit from. We can get all of our water through pipelines owned by Metropolitan Water District and we can be served by Eastern through those same Met pipelines. Same water from the same treatment plants, from the same pipelines as we have now, but just with a much lower cost. And so right now, I don't know how many people here have ever had a water main break on their street, but there's lots of them. Fallbrook will be 100 years old this year. Rainbow's about 65 years old. But right now, your money is going down south to build pipelines and fix things that we never use while our infrastructure here struggles. So what we're trying to do is get the Local Agency Information Commission to approve the process, so then it'll come back to our communities for an election. That election will be held hopefully shortly after the approval later this year. But we'll have to see when it's scheduled. But we're looking to make sure all our community groups understand what's going on, and perhaps at some time in the future, Superintendent Garza Gonzalez can schedule more than 3 minutes for us to inform the board of what's going on. Because at some point, we'd like to see if we can get your support. We're getting support of all the community planning groups, the Chamber of Commerce. We're going around all of our school districts and every organization that'll have us to generate support, because we need to send a message to Supervisor Desmond, who's chair of LAFCO, as well as all the other folks down south, that it's important to our community to control our water costs so that we can maintain the fabric and culture of Fallbrook, which is primarily based in agriculture, because if prices keep going up, that's going to slip out of reach for us. And nobody wants to see dead groves, especially when the Santa Ana starts blowing. So I will yield my time.
Thank you. Noel Denke on switching water wholesalers.
Hi, I'm Noelle Danke with Fallbrook Public Utility District. I'm not going to repeat everything Tom just said, but we are looking to switch water wholesalers. The reality is that buying our wholesale water from the San Diego County Water Authority, they increase their rates 8% on average every year. They are not going to drop. They're not going to remain flat. And collectively, our two agencies, if we switch water wholesalers from the San Diego County Water Authority to buying it through Metropolitan from Eastern Municipal Water District, it would save both agencies $7 to $10 million every year. It's huge. We've all seen the stumped avocado groves and heard from people who get a big water bill. It has hit this region, this area, hard. And so as Tom said, we're going around. We've got the support of the Chambers of Commerce, of the planning groups, and we would love to give a more robust presentation than this to your board and for your consideration to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no other public verbal comments.
All right, communication and reports. Report from student representatives.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I don't have anything to report for Oasis, but for Ivy, they did hold a CPR certification class on March 19th, where 10 people attended. That's about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Next will be from our superintendent.
Yes. So today was a very special day. I think it's already been mentioned. We held the ribbon cutting ceremony for the library and also took that opportunity to announce our valedictorian and salutatorian. Both the valedictorian and the salutatorian will be formally recognized by the Board of Education at a later date. In January 2020, Senate Bill 328 was passed by the legislature and signed by Governor Newsom. The bill, which was introduced by Senator Anthony Portantino, requires California middle schools to start required classes no earlier than 8 a.m. and high schools no earlier than 8:30 a.m. beginning with the 2022-23 school year. 8:30 a.m. is 50 minutes later than our current start time. The reasoning behind the legislation is that early school start times pose serious health and safety concerns for teenagers, including sleep deprivation, depression, anxiety, obesity, and substance abuse. Research has found that academically, schools with early start times have higher incidences of absences and tardies, lower test scores and graduation rates, and higher rates of injury among student athletes. As we begin the transition to a later start time, we know that for just about every student and family that finds the later start time a convenience, another student and family will find the later start time an inconvenience. We have established that our start time will be 8:30 a.m., but have not yet determined a bell schedule and an end of day time. As the day shifts to a later start time, end times will shift as well. We have taken into consideration feedback from our food services department, our transportation department, and the athletics department, to name a few. We've referenced schedules of high schools within San Diego County that have already made the shift to a later start time. The information will be communicated to parents before the end of the school year and continuously throughout the summer months. Although there are exceptions to rural schools, Fallbrook does not meet any of the definitions of rural adopted by the state. So currently, we have presented the information to our Curriculum and Instruction Council. We are in the process of surveying our certificated staff and will begin surveying classified staff this week. After that, we will decide on a bell schedule, and then the impacts and the effects of that bell schedule have to be negotiated with both bargaining units, as it will require employees to have to change their start and end time as well. All of this, like I said earlier, should be finished by May. We will then communicate the information to parents and have the information going out to parents throughout the summer. But again, because of the legislation, we will not be able to start school earlier than 8:30 a.m. beginning in the 22-23 school year.
Thank you. Reports from board members. Ms. Sterling?
Nothing to report at this time.
Ms. Summer?
Nothing to report.
Okay. I was able to attend a regional, what was that? Sort of a board of directors on the consortium of North County's Consortium for Special Education as one of the representatives there. It was something I don't know a whole lot about, and it was really, really good for me to kind of get a quick education on that. This is a consortium of many of the schools in the North County area that provide support and resources, pooled resources to the schools. I'm happy to report that our school is accessing those and is getting support. It's not something that we're not using. I think it's a good program, and I had a good time doing that. Other than that, nothing else to report. Mr. Carlampio?
I want to thank our Councilor Lydia Hahn for being at the FFA Awards, right? FFA recognition? Yeah, this weekend up north. So our students in FFA are getting recognized. That's why Mr. Gallegos is not here. So, wishing them the best of luck. And in terms of community, we're looking for soccer coaches at the Fallbrook Youth Soccer League. I'm currently coaching my daughter's 4-year-old team, and I'll soon start coaching my son's 3-year-old team. So if you could get any coaches, any students to volunteer for community service hours, that'd be great. One season can give up to 50 hours. So with just one season, the students can meet the graduation requirement, and they could get back to the community, which is awesome. Thank you.
Yes, and our FFA students and teachers are at the state conference.
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On to the agenda. Item A, under Superintendent and Human Resources. This is an information item on board policies.
Yes, this is an information item only. The revised new and deleted board policies and administrative regulations are being presented as an information item for a first reading and will return as an action item at the next board meeting. The review enables the district to ensure the policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws conform to state and federal law. The district compares its policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws with CSBA, that's the California School Boards Association, recommendation. And the review serves as a reminder to the governance team and staff of the operational principles and implementation guidelines for the district. The revisions are in alignment with suggested language and the numbering system and appear as a strike-through for deletions and an underline for additions. At this time, there are no financial implications associated with the agenda item. Implementation of these proposed revisions should support district efforts to help students attain the goals identified in the LCAP. And again, these are here as an informational item for first reading and will be placed on the next agenda for action.
Thank you. Information only, so no vote. Any other questions on that? Next item, item 2, is an action item, which is also revised new and deleted board policies.
Yes, so at the last board meeting, these revised new and deleted board policies and administrative regulations were presented to you as an informational item. Again, the revisions allow the district to make the necessary updates to remain compliant. These revisions and updates are in alignment with the California School Boards Association suggested language and numbering system. The revisions will appear as a strike-through for deletions and as an underline for additions. There are no financial implications associated with this item. Implementation of the proposed revisions should support district efforts to help students attain the goals identified in the LCAP. I recommend that the Board of Trustees approve in the second reading the revised, new, and deleted board policies and administrative regulations as presented.
I move that the board approve in the second reading the revised, new, and deleted board policies and administrative regulations as presented.
I'll go ahead and second that. Thank you. Tavish and Jones. Any further questions or clarification? Okay, Mr. Carlampio.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 5-0. Oh, I'm sorry. Savannah?
Oh, aye.
Aye. Thank you. Sorry about that. Item number 3 is an action item, resolution number 10-2122, Day of the Teacher.
Yes, Day of the Teacher arose out of legislation co-sponsored by the California Teachers Association and the Association of Mexican American Educators. Senator Joseph Montoya wrote the bill, and it was adopted in 1982 as Senate Bill 1546. California has patterned its celebration after the traditional El Día del Maestro festivities observed in Mexico and Latin American countries. Board Resolution Number 10-2122, which declares May 3rd, 2022, Day of the Teacher, recognizes the ongoing significant contributions made by educators. There is no cost associated with the adoption of the resolution. There is no alignment to the LCAP. And I recommend that the Board of Trustees adopt Board Resolution Number 10-2122, joining the Governor of the State Legislature in recognizing May 3rd, 2022 as Day of the Teacher as presented.
I move that the board adopts resolution number 10-2122, which declares May 3rd, 2022 as the Day of the Teacher as presented.
I second that.
Moved by Tavish, second by Summers. Any questions? Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Davish?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Amoth?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Agenda item number 4 is an action item, resolution 11-2122, classified employees work week.
Governor Ronald Reagan first proclaimed Classified School Employee Week in 1969, stating that the classified employee is proud of his status and the integral part he plays in the total field of education throughout the state of California. In 1984, the California School Employees Association members passed a resolution to establish an official recognition week, and a year later it was adopted as a state-sponsored resolution. Then, in 1986, Senate Bill 1552 permanently solidified Classified School Employee Week as an annual week of statewide recognition. The bill's sponsor, William Campbell, said, "I urge all citizens to work closely to take time out and think about school days and recall the efforts of the bus drivers, secretaries, custodians, and all other classified staff they met and knew. As much as any other group of employees, the classified school staff is a valued and integral part of our public schools system, and their work is vital to our children's success." Board Resolution number 11-2122 declares May 15th through the 21st, 2022, Classified School Employee Week, recognizing the ongoing significant contributions made by classified school employees. There are no costs associated with adoption of this resolution and no alignment to the LCAP. I recommend that the Board of Trustees adopt Board Resolution number 11-2122, joining the Governor and the State Legislature in recognizing May 15th through the 21st, 2022, as Classified School Employee Week.
Okay.
I move that the board adopt Board Resolution 11-2122 to recognize May 15th through 21st, 2022 as Classified Employee Week as presented.
I second that motion.
All right, moved by Sterling, second by Summers. Thank you. Mr. Carlumpio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Ms. Davish?
Aye.
And Ms. Amoth?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. Number 6 is also an action item, has to do with the junior ROTC instructor pay.
Actually, it's action item number 5, another resolution.
All right, I filled that out in the wrong box. Let's go with action number 5, resolution 12-2122, school day lunch share.
School Lunch Hero Day is celebrated on the first Friday in May annually and has occurred since May 2012. It is a day on which people show appreciation to the professionals who help make meals for America's students. These professionals not only include the people who design and implement the strict nutrition standards needed in schools, but also the cafeteria workers who make sure that all children are fed. All of these people are heroes, and this day is designed to show them the appreciation they deserve, but never ask to receive. School lunches are an important part of a student's academic success. Studies show that students who receive regular meals for breakfast and lunch are more likely to succeed in school. Studies have also shown that school breakfast and lunches contribute to the student's overall health. As a result, school lunches are not something that just benefits the student, but it benefits the overall community. In other words, school lunches are good for all of us. Board Resolution number 12-2122 declares May 6, 2022 School Lunch Hero Day and recognizes the ongoing significant contributions made by the employees in the cafeteria food department. There are no costs associated with adoption of this resolution, and there is no alignment to the LCAP. I recommend that the Board of Trustees adopt Board Resolution number 12-2122, joining the School Nutrition Association and recognizing May 6, 2022 as School Lunch Hero Day.
I move that the board approve resolution number 12-2122, recognizing May 6, 2022 as school lunch hero day as presented.
I second.
All right, thank you. Summer and Sterling. Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Ms. Davish?
Aye.
Aye. And Savannah?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 5-0. Now I can go to action item number 6, ROTC Instructor Pay.
Yes. So the U.S. Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, JROTC, was established at Fallbrook Union High School in 2016 and began during the 2016-2017 school year. The program is run by our 2 instructors, the Senior Marine Instructor, SMI, and the Military Instructor, MI. The National Defense Authorization Act authorized a military base pay increase effective January 1st, 2022. As instructed by the United States Marine Corps Minimum Instructor Pay, our JROTC instructors are receiving increases retroactive or beginning January 1st, 2022. The district received notification of the increase after January, February, and March payroll had processed. Therefore, an adjustment for January and February will be processed with the new instructors' pay scales in March. The salary increase included several components of pay that are not relevant to the district, as the district is only responsible for the MIP, which is the, I read it earlier, the minimum instructor pay. Focusing on the MIP doesn't increase the overall salary schedule, but rather each instructor's salary. Both were increased. The Department of Defense reimburses the district for approximately half of each instructor's salary for the fiscal year. The financial implications are that the total increased cost is approximately $9,490 per year. This increase will be offset by the increases to the monthly revenue received from the Department of Defense for 50% of the instructor's salaries. The alignment with the LCAP is with goal number 2, prepare all students for college and career, including 21st century skills. I recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the minimum instructor pay salary increases for JROTC instructors as presented.
I move that the board approve the increase in JROTC instructor pay as of January 1st, 2022 as presented.
I'll second that one.
All right, motion by Mr. Carlampio, second by Ms. Summers. Are there any questions on this? Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones? Aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. And Savannah?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 5-0 in favor. Section B is business services. Action number 7 is action item for this is a resolution 13-2122, and it has to do with Baker Electric for solar.
I move that the board approve the resolution 13-2122 for energy services contracted with Baker Electric Incorporated for solar panels project as presented.
And a happy second.
Sterling and Summer. Any questions? Anything to add?
I was just going to say the presentation that Mr. Van Oak gave from Baker Electric during the public hearing, he provided the details, and this action item is just asking the board to approve the actual contract with Baker Electric and the resolution number 13-2122, authorizing and approving an energy services contract with Baker Electric.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, Mr. Carlampio? We have a motion, we have a second, so we'll go with the votes.
Aye.
Aye. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. And Savannah? 5-0. Thank you. Section C is education services. Item number 8 is an action item, job descriptions.
Yes, in preparation and execution of summer school requires time and dedication. In previous years, Fallbrook has recruited a summer school coordinator to assist with the many duties associated with the program. The summer school coordinator will provide needed support for school site admin by taking the duties associated with summer school setup and assisting with implementation. The support will facilitate an optimal operational summer school program. The updated job description accurately reflects the duties and responsibilities of the position. The summer school coordinator will receive a stipend of $10,000, which will be paid from supplemental concentration funds. It is in alignment with the LCAP goal number 1, improve pupil engagement. I recommend that the board approve the updated summer school coordinator job description as presented.
I move that the board approve the updated job description for the summer school coordinator as presented.
I second.
Tavish and Sterling, thank you. Any more questions? Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Mr. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Amath?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. We now come to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one action. There's usually no discussion on these items prior to the time of the Board of Trustees votes on the motion unless members of the board request specific items to be discussed or deleted from the consent items. Action item number 9 is the consent agenda.
I move that the board approve as presented the consent agenda.
Second.
Tavish and Sterling. Anything further? Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Ms. Sterling?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Summers?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Tavish?
Aye.
Aye. Savannah?
Aye.
Thank you. Organizational matters. This is the appropriate place in the agenda for members of the board to request the superintendent provide further information regarding items discussed at this meeting and/or request that new items of business be placed on future agendas.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I have 2 requests. Number 1, I would like to know if the district can look into a potential Noche Cultural for our migrant ELD first generation Chicano, Chicana, Chapin community students. I think that our students can benefit from a performance fundraiser here at the Bob Burton Center. I'm picturing Baile Folclórico, quebraditas, banda dance performances, where students can perform in front of their parents, relatives, community members, and guests can buy tickets. The money the money fundraise can be used for equipment, field trips. Teachers Eliana Arias and Cesar Rodriguez lead these programs already, so if we could contact them and work with them. So what I'm picturing is like a Noche Cultural, a baile here in the stage, and we can have community members come in and support our students, if that could be possible. And then number 2, a few weeks ago, our staff, Mr. Germán Mosqueda, presented on COVID absences data, absences, and after asking a couple questions, those absences were related to COVID. And I'd just like to know if the district could create a game plan and how to address the needs of our students in District 4, since those are the students who were hit the hardest with COVID absences, if we could create a game plan to address the needs of the absences, maybe potential lower grades because of those absences, so that way we can be proactive in our approach and helping our students from our district. Thank you.
Okay, so to clarify, the fundraiser for Noche Cultural would be in the next school year. Obviously, what that will look like would come about with planning, but is that something that the rest of the board is in agreement with, of putting together something similar to our Festival of Cultures, but for the evening? Okay, thank you. And then a report of some sort regarding a game plan to address the map that was presented by Mr. Mosqueda, because specifically it addressed District 4.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other organizational matters? All right. Date and time of the next meeting. The next meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on Monday, April 18th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. at the Bob Burton Performing Arts Center, Fallbrook High School. Adjournment. There being no further business to come before the board, the regular board meeting of March 28th, 2022 is adjourned by 7:16 by President Jones.